So you got the breakup because I'm not voting for Kamala?
Yes.
She's not black.
She's black. She's a black woman. He's a white racist man.
She's Asian.
Just get out. Just get out of my house.
He believes what he believes. She believes what she believes. That's fine. Disrespect of this. When somebody says, I want you out, when they hit the T on out, you should be getting up to go.
We clearly don't click.
So you really gonna break up with your boyfriend over political views?
Yes, I am.
I'm not an alpha male. I'm not a beta male either. I'm just a better man. Better man.
Yo, GYBB, get your balls back. WWDD, what would Dante do? Sexual Revolution is being podcasted, and I am excited. What's up, Hal? Let's get into it.
Dante, there's some stuff going on now. This is a big trend that has just started happening this month after the election. There's a lot of videos coming out of people talking about breakups and couples just their political differences are too much. Honestly, it's mostly one-sided here. It's a lot of people breaking up with Trump supporters.
Yeah.
Because they don't understand how somebody could vote for Trump. And so let's take a look at this video, and I want to get your reaction to this.
So you got the breakup because I'm not voting for Kamala?
Yes. You're black, right? Why aren't you voting for her? She's a black woman.
So since I'm black, I gotta vote for Kamala? She's not even black.
Yes, she is black.
How?
She's mixed.
With
I'm
what?
black, right? It doesn't matter how you trying to.
She's not black.
She's black. She's a black woman. He's a white racist man.
She's Asian.
Just get out. Just get out of my house.
Her mom's Asian Indian.
We clearly don't click. This is
and her
not
dad
happening.
is a Spaniard Jamaican. How is that black?
She's black. She's not white. She's not
I'm black.
Trump.
My mom black.
The problem is
she black. Ain't you black?
Don't put her in this, okay?
So you really gonna break up with your boyfriend over political views?
Yes, I am.
That sounds stupid.
No, it's not stupid. We just don't believe in the same thing. So I don't see why you just don't get out.
Okay, we're talking about political views though.
You're voting for Trump.
We can disagree.
He's racist.
Okay, we can disagree. Right?
That means you're a Republican. I'm Democrat.
I'm not a Republican. How am I a Republican because I'm voting for Trump?
You're voting for Trump.
That doesn't make sense.
So what are you voting for?
Do I look like a Republican to you? No, I'm not a Republican.
Just get out. Hurry up.
Man, what? That don't make no sense.
Get out before I put you out.
Okay, I'm just saying, but that does not make sense.
You're a Trump lover.
You're not making any sense.
You might as well just walk around with a flag, like Confederate flag.
She's trying to break with her boyfriend over political views.
I'm racist. Are you another Kanye? Okay. Are you Kanye too?
What are you talking about?
You are, right? Okay, just get out. Just get out.
What's wrong with Kanye?
What's wrong with Kanye? That was funny at the end. See, now I think the problem is I think he was just trying to rile her up.
What's wrong with Kanye?
That's...
Yeah. So this is go ahead.
Sorry, go for it.
So this is the thing. First of all, like I said before, everybody has a right to have their opinion, and they have a right to pursue their opinions on their political situation. But if you're in a situation, but just as well as she has a right to her opinion and what she thinks about what she thinks. And so I think we got to cut this down the middle. Whether or not her explanation for why or whatever, or that whatever she thinks she is, or Republican or whether, is absurd as just her argument is, or whatever it is, or incoherent it is. The bottom line, she goes, get out of my house. Why would you stay after somebody says, get out of my house?
Yeah, you got to get up and go. You got to get up and go.
You got to get up and go. Now, you arguing, oh, what am I? Yo, this is stupid. This is stupid. Clearly not to her. I mean, what kind of man does it make you that you're in a situation where a woman says, get out of my house or I will have you removed, and you're still arguing back and forth about what you think and what you don't think? She didn't say, let's discuss this or explain to me why you do. She said, get out of my house.
Yeah, she made that abundantly clear.
Yeah. So if you want her to even, and it may be a situation where you get out of her house and then she changes her mind, and then, but even then, you don't, if somebody's saying, I don't want you, I don't want to be with you, right? doesn't even matter how ridiculous or silly the reason is, right? And I'm not saying that it is silly. I'm just saying whatever the reason. If somebody says I want you to leave. In fact, if somebody says I want you to leave and they don't tell you why,
you got to leave.
Why would you ask that?
Because you also want it to be understood that can't be an empty threat. I think the reason he doesn't leave the house is because he doesn't believe it, and they're not really breaking up. Maybe, I don't know.
I think that even that's a mistake in terms of the judgment of this, because the bottom line, if somebody can tell you, get out of my house, leave, I'm breaking up with you. The simple fact is that and I'm not saying I can't say for sure if he deserves a level of respect from this woman. He doesn't deserve it because he's not demanding it. The fact that she can, if it is frivolously, right, that she's saying this, if it's not frivolously, if it is frivolously, it doesn't matter. The fact is she's like, get out of my house. Somebody that feels as though they can do that, right, with no consequence.
With impunity.
Where is your credibility if you stay? She's not saying, explain to me, why do you think this is the case? And he's going, yo, this is stupid. This is stupid. You see what his sister said? His sister was like, what I ain't in this, but you have to, it's an interesting thing. I had a live call the other day, and I forget what the question was specifically, but I asked questions while this guy, whatever the problem was, and I asked questions about specific things that always takes it back to the three principles of authenticity, credibility, and empathy. So here's the thing. He believes what he believes. That's fine. She believes what she believes. That's fine. If she says, get out of my house, right? What she's saying is, what is the subtext? What is she really saying? You believe this, and she not only that, but she explained that we don't fit. Our life philosophy is so vastly different, right? That I don't want to be with you no more. It's not open. There's no way in the world that you having a discussion about this in a situation where somebody tells you to get out of their house, that will never end up being a good situation. Because she's saying, I don't want to be with you. And you're saying, well, let me justify why I'm good enough to stay. All you're doing is confirming the reason that she came up with in the first place, why you should leave in the first place. If you love what we're doing here, go to patreon.com. It's the best way to support us, and check out all the bonus content.
That's right, patreon.com/manschool202. We do weekly bonus episodes. We do listener mail, dating tips, and also, if you love the show, you can go back to the archive starting from episode 1. All the episodes will be there at patreon.com/manschool202. No, I was going to say also the importance of setting boundaries of, like, if you're going to say that, then you better mean it, because what happens when you get in a real argument? She's going to say things that are worse. You have to set those boundaries of, if you say you want me to leave the house, I'm leaving the house. You're not going to use that as a threat.
And I'm never coming back.
And I'm not coming back. Don't use that as a, Dante, there was a story you told years ago. I'm going to tell one about the garbage bags, but I don't even allow, me and my girl, we don't even curse at each other. Not even jokingly. We won't curse at each other.
And you did at one time, and then said, hey.
No, not with her. I've had it previous relationships with her right out the gate. I said we're not. And every once in a while we mess up and we go, hey, don't curse at me. And we go, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to do that, etc. I've had other relationships where I've had to go, hey, we're not doing that anymore.
Right.
Now I've evolved where, like, from the start of the relationship, I go, we're not going to curse at each other. That's just not happening. Now,
was that something that you said even when the boundary wasn't pushed, or was the boundary pushed and then you said something?
It wasn't put with this relationship.
It's almost weird to say, and what I don't want you to do is curse at me. Usually something happens and you go, listen, that I'm not
I think something was said briefly
Yeah.
in joking, and then that's when
Yeah.
you take the opportunity to go, listen, I don't want us cursing at each other.
Right.
I don't like it. I don't think we
Right.
should curse at each other, because when it doesn't end well, because
Right.
then when we get into a real argument, it's going to
Yeah.
get very nasty, and then it hurts the relationship.
Right.
And that's the boundary you set, and we don't do that now, because other couples. It's interesting. I was because what you do that matters, even when you're having fun. There was a statistic, and I'm going to look up the stat, but they said those couples that you know how you do the wedding cake on your wedding night, you cut the cake,
Oh yeah,
and
yeah.
you can either feed it to each other,
Or smash
or
it in each
some
other's face.
couples put the cake on each other's faces and stuff. And basically, the couples that end up, putting the wedding cake into each other's faces, they're almost destined to fail. Those marriages almost never work out statistically, because it's an indication. If that's what you do to your partner when things are good, what type of stuff? How do you treat your partner when things are bad?
Yeah.
When things are really rough, when you're not liking each other and you're not comfortable with each other.
Yeah. There's also a certain level of disrespect that's present when somebody thinks that they can do that. Like, I don't think I would ever have I don't think that there's any woman that I've ever, I mean, at least, well, maybe, and maybe when I was in my 20s, but there's a certain idea of which I make clear up front that I'm not a guy that you're gonna put wedding cake in my face, right? But I remember us, and I always go back to this. Some years ago, we interviewed a guy from the Love and Hip Hop. I forget what was his. You remember his name? No, the guy who said,
Cisco.
I said, you have, huh? What was his name? Cisco. Yeah, Cisco from Love and Hip Hop. And I asked him, yo, you ever had a drink thrown in your face? And he was like, yo, I'm from Love and Hip Hop, of course. And I was like, yeah, I'm not a drink in the face kind of guy. And what I was saying was there's a certain level of respect that you maintain and portray, that you're not going to be tolerant of that doesn't give space for somebody to throw drink in your face. And that's with anything else. So the disrespect of this, the fact that she says, I want you out. When somebody says, I want you out, you should be, but when they say out, when they hit the T on out, you should be getting up to go. Because you arguing about, I mean, let's be honest. Somebody says, yo, get out. And you go, come on, you being stupid. Why are you bugging, man? Now you're convincing them, but you're also emboldening them.
Well, what you're doing is you're trying to, when you have to sit there and convince somebody or make an argument, what you're doing is, one, giving them the power and the validity, but you're giving them validity that the argument has any validity, that you have to be talked out of it. Yeah. That there is a point to be made, that there is a conversation and a negotiation to be had. When there's no negotiation, it's when you've already made your decision. This is wrong, and I'm not doing it.
Yeah, I have a real. It's so. First of all, so I'm going to tell you something else, that there's an interesting dynamic about this, right? And I suffer from this myself because of racism and even colorism within the Black community, right? So we need to understand that there is no such thing as a white race or a Black race. This is a social construct that you can ignore or not, but it still affects policy, laws, and how and social situations that people, even though the construct of, I mean, all human beings come from the same origin place, from Africa, from the same ancestors, from the same lineage, and then whiteness and blackness is a construct after the fact. It's a sociological, and but the point is that this woman is half Black, half white. The first thing I thought of was that we are definitely in a situation, as a light-skinned guy, right? In my life, I always had to prove that I was Black enough. Right, which literally created a situation where a lot of dark-skinned dudes got punched in the mouth for questioning my Blackness, because I received the same kind of racism and whatever, the trials and tribulations of Black men, and then somebody who's Blacker or darker than you wants to otherize you. Somehow you're not, and somehow you're not it. So she's definitely sensitive about her blackness, right? And so it's important to her to feel included in her blackness.
Sure,
and
sure.
the fact that that emotionally that puts her in a place. But the bottom line with this is that she says get out, and you go, well, get out is not, let's talk about this. Get out is not, well, why do you feel this way or whatever. She's made a decision, and that decision that she's made is clear. And for you to, this is not open for debate. So what do I say all the time? This is a man school principle is never never give ultimatums, make ultimate decisions. She says, get out, you get out. This is not open for negotiation. She's given you an ultimatum. You are to comply with that. There's nothing else to say. If you are, every time, like you said, every time that you try to come up with a reason why to change her mind, you're saying that, yeah, I know this is what you think, but I want you to understand. I want you to, here's something that you didn't think about. Maybe I am worth it. Maybe if you really look at it this way, I could be worth it.
I'm not an alpha male. I'm not a beta male either. I'm just a better man. Well, put your happiness first, because if you don't, they won't.